A dangerous and advanced frigate has been deployed in the direction of Iran amid ongoing military preparations intended to completely topple the Iranian regime. Apparently, this frigate that we are talking about is the FS Forbin frigate. This frigate belongs to the French Navy. It is a Horizon-class frigate which entered service in 2008. They call it the Missile Killer or even the Sky Protector. This allows primarily due to its exceptional ability to effectively counter incoming threats such as those from unmanned aerial vehicles as well as all types of cruise missiles and even certain threats originating from ballistic missiles. This is further enhanced by the formidable radar systems that this frigate is equipped with along with its advanced specialized missile systems including Aster 15 and Aster 30. This frigate was spotted over the past about 48 hours as it traversed the Suez Canal heading towards the Red Sea. And this was confirmed by images from Chinese satellites, which clearly showed the frigate moving in that direction. It is, of course, operating in a stealthy manner, remaining undetected by radar. This is an extremely significant development. The frigate, of course, upon its entry into this area, is highly expected to head directly towards or position itself within the Strait of Hormuz for several compelling reasons. This is primarily due to its advanced capabilities, as we have previously discussed, in countering guided missiles, including cruise missiles, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles, and the significant threats posed by ballistic missiles. But also, and perhaps even more importantly, it is primarily engineered to provide protection for naval fleets and their aircraft carriers. Right? There is a significant American aircraft carrier, specifically the USS Abraham Lincoln, currently positioned near the Omani coastlines. There was an update from satellite imagery confirming the presence of the USS Abraham Lincoln at this specific location. This image proved that the USS Abraham Lincoln is indeed positioned at this point approximately 700 kilometers from the Iranian coast. Furthermore, it remains sheltered by the Omani mountains, occupying a highly crucial strategic position. Consequently, this piece of Bakanan, this French frigate was by coming to this region will significantly bolster the aircraft carrier's support and will neutralize many of the incoming missile capabilities from Iran or even from the drones that could threaten the aircraft carrier or the overall American presence in the area. However, it is also a possibility that it might be positioned towards the United Arab Emirates. Because France possesses extremely important strategic relations with the United Arab Emirates. For example, there are giant corporations that hold significant agreements and interests that France ultimately seeks to safeguard. This is because European interests could potentially be jeopardized by the Iranian side, especially if Iranian interests are broadly targeted. Furthermore, there is a French naval base situated near Abu Dhabi, right here in the United Arab Emirates within this particular region. As we can observe, this is a French naval base, and consequently the frigate has no issue being present in this particular region, despite the significant likelihood of a potentially massive confrontation, specifically here in this very area at the Strait of Hormuz. And of course, this situation arises as Iran continues to issue threats. For example, the Fars news agency today once again issued a threat. They also published this image explicitly threatening the Strait of Hormuz. This was a thinly veiled warning that they would indeed close this vital strait if Iran were to face any kind of military aggression or attack. Furthermore, just yesterday, air navigation warnings were issued in the eastern and southeastern regions of Iran. Also, in southern Iran, it indicates the Iranian side wants to launch missiles. This notification was issued yesterday and continues until today. Therefore, until this moment, it's not clear what the nature of Iran's exercises is. But the most important thing is this red point here, which is at the Strait of Hormuz. If we get closer to it, we'll see it's a dangerous point in a difficult location. The strait naturally, as we observe, represents a significant geographical area and also a critical maritime choke point, which could potentially be brought under direct fire control by the Iranian side. And what's most important is that Iran is conducting artillery exercises, meaning it is also attempting to gain control of this entire area with artillery fire. And if we take into account the coordinates that have been published by the Iranian side, you will observe that the last point, almost in the very middle of the strait, as we can clearly see, is not as it actually appears here in this specific region. Consequently, this is a very serious matter. The strikes occurring here mean that ships in general, even if they are merely training exercises, companies will become quite concerned and may gradually withdraw from this region where military maneuvers have significantly increased, not solely Iranian but also American, because of the high potential for a confrontation that could arise within this area. Given the extreme gravity of the situation, 2 American P-8A Poseidon aircraft were seen today flying in a highly intensive manner alongside these Iranian maneuvers. This clearly indicates that Iran is indeed preparing for something significant. It is preparing for an operation that may be completely different from what has occurred in the past, aiming to prove that Iran is fully capable of closing off this vital region. With the threats, the United States is extensively deployed defensively throughout the Arabian Gulf region as a whole. Now, for instance, at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar or Sheikh Issa Air Base in the Kingdom of Bahrain. If we were to go to Sheikh Issa Air Base in Bahrain and then proceed to Al Udeid Air Base, we would observe that at Sheikh Issa Air Base, there are significant developments concerning these 4 specific points. For example, you'll notice here, that Patriot systems have recently been deployed in this region, as well as a number of F-16 airfields spread across the southern, central, and northern points. Let's turn our attention to the southern point first, and you'll observe that these are F-16 aircraft as identified by Chinese satellites, which are now playing a role in sharing all this information. Notice this is one aircraft and another F-16 aircraft. And this is also another F-16 16 aircraft. You'll also observe that there are American military cargo aircraft such as the C-130 and other similar planes, along with other crucial storage facilities for the American forces. Consequently, the U.S. deployment in Bahrain should not be underestimated. As for Al Udeid Air Base, the latest satellite imagery clearly shows that there are 11 KC-135 aircraft designed for aerial refueling. These are crucial for providing logistical support to American warplanes if they were to commence operations against Iranian target. And of course, Diego Garcia also has developments, and this is a crucial base to support strategic bombers if they arrive and begin strike in the region. Diego Garcia is crucial for supporting all these mobilizations that we are discussing, directed towards the Strait of Hormuz and the bases situated in the Arabian Gulf. Notice regarding Diego Garcia, the latest satellite image clearly shows an additional C-17 aircraft is present, which is a military cargo plane. This isn't Akina Atial, the first aircraft. In fact, many planes of this type have already arrived. This suggests we might be facing the installation of defensive systems that at this very moment are not visible to us through the nature of the satellites currently present. We will wait and observe the exact nature of this military cargo. However, it is also crucial to note that there are important developments occurring in Saudi Arabia, specifically along the Red Sea coast, through which this particular frigate, the FS Forbin that we are currently discussing, will pass heading directly towards Yanbu, a location of paramount strategic importance. And observe as we approached the satellite view of Yanbu, a location previously visited by numerous aircraft carriers. You will notice that a significant change has indeed occurred in this particular region. Look closely at these squares. They appear empty. There is nothing particularly interesting present here except for some activity located within this specific square. Now, things have changed. Chinese satellite images have once again revealed a major shift and extensive deployment of American forces in this region, particularly concerning ammunition, equipment, weaponry, and logistical support at these 4 specific points. You will notice a massive spread in one of the squares we indicated earlier, an enormous stockpile of ammunition or bombs, as is evident. And you'll notice the continuous expansion and movement for the United States. And this is a significant matter, especially as the New York Times has confirmed that the aircraft carrier that will be deploying to the Middle East region is the USS Gerald R. Ford instead of the USS George H.W. Washington, which had been previously referred to just last week. Therefore, with the Gerald R. Ford, we are discussing the largest American aircraft carrier in terms of displacement, which is owned by the United States, and indeed the heaviest globally, surpassing any other aircraft carrier. It was last positioned near Venezuela, heading in that direction, and consequently it is anticipated to proceed towards the Red Sea. It has previously confronted the Houthi group, and it has also stopped there at Yanbu. Therefore, these logistical developments are crucial for any future confrontation to protect even the Bab al-Mandab Strait from any dangerous developments, as is also the case for what is present in Saudi Arabia. E-11A aircraft. This particular plane functioned as a flying communications tower. It connects all ground, air, and defensive forces, as well as others. Regardless of how varied the systems may be across these different sectors and forces, it will connect everyone through a single communication link, facilitating the attack operation and coordinating strikes on the Iranian bottleneck. You can observe from the specific recordings pertaining to this particular aircraft, there are 3 E-11A aircraft currently stationed at Prince Sultan Air Base located in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's also important to note that during the 12-day conflict specifically, when the United States carried out strikes on nuclear facilities, there was only one of these aircraft available. This demonstrates how the United States intends to deploy this aircraft for operations that could originate from any direction. Military shipments are continuously being conducted by the United States. Over the past 24 hours هذه السيسة في أولا أعطي HD أولا في الشسفتي G-70A and C-5M Galaxy military transport aircraft were seen flying to Europe and the Middle East. These recordings confirm ongoing shipments on February 13th and 14th at multiple bases in the region. Consequently, the United States continues to prepare for an upcoming operation against the Iranian regime. And this is where FS Forbin's importance comes in. This means Europe is now actively present in the support process for the United States of America. We've also witnessed many movements from the British side. We might also see continuous European involvement against the regime generally. This comes as the United States prepares to launch operations that will last for weeks against the Iranian regime. This means there is a clear determination not only to discipline the Iranian regime or to attempt to change its behavior through these recent strikes, but rather a firm resolve to completely change the entire regime itself. This is all under a strategic plan devised by Netanyahu and Donald Trump during their last meeting at the White House to ensure the continuation of economic pressures on Iran as well as sustained pressure on its Iranian oil exports that are currently heading towards China.
This will not only have an impact on Iran, but it will also affect China.
This is an important matter that Donald Trump is working on at a strategic level, significantly and extensively. Also, the Iranian opposition, specifically supporters of the Shah or the son of the Iranian Shah, have begun a massive mobilization effort in Europe. We observed the large demonstrations that appeared in Los Angeles, Toronto, Australia, and also across Germany. Reports stated that between 200,000 and 250,000 supporters of the Iranian Shah's son were present at these demonstrations. Lindsey Graham, a friend of US President Donald Trump, appeared. He is considered an important advisor to President Trump, and he is also a well-known Republican senator from the Republican ranks. He appeared raising the flag of the Iranian Shah, a scene that might show you how things will change inside Iran, and American determination for this change. Also, Reza Pahlavi, the son of the Iranian Shah, delivered a speech in Munich at this important conference. Vladimir Zelensky and a number of other key figures all spoke about the necessity of a change in the Iranian regime due to the regime's danger in all directions, whether internally or at the level of external fronts. Even Canada stated they will not deal with the Iranian government unless there is a fundamental change in the Iranian regime. And this is Canada's position, not just for now, but it will persist for many years to come. Regardless of whether these strikes lead to a change in the Iranian regime or not, they will not engage in any relationship until the Iranian regime is completely changed. It's the very same issue. Donald Trump also spoke about changing the Iranian regime. He stated that this appears to be the most optimal solution, and it seems quite clear from history that the Iranian regime will not agree to the conditions being demanded by the United States of America. Of course, everything is anticipated and anything is possible to witness with all these developments unfolding over the next 2 days. On Tuesday in Geneva, there will be crucial discussions, and we will have to wait and see how these talks progress. But the senior officials in the administration of US President Donald Trump clearly stated that they are not at all optimistic that the supreme leader will deal with the conditions of US President Donald Trump and the Iranian side on this matter. Therefore, the Iran Observer reported that a number of Iranian military commanders are calculating that they must inflict losses, and indeed inflict significant losses, on the American army to achieve the desired deterrence, and that the strikes should not only be directed specifically at Israel. This is ultimately what Iran is seeking.